here.
Yeah,
never too late.
very effective. So it looks like we're live and direct.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, we're live.
Are we? Where's the music thing?
I haven't pitched the intro button, Kevin. Like you haven't done this before.
Baby
We
step.
had a little extra little time off this time, but here we go.
Okay.
What everybody's been waiting for, the infamous intro. What is up, everybody? How are you doing? Kelley, how are you doing down there?
I'm pretty all right. How are you doing?
We got the Bride of Frankenstein on the screen, and then we got Frankenstein right here, Frankenstein's monster. Well, this is Frankenstein. I'm Frankenstein monster. So we'll go with that.
So that's doctor to you.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
While you were painting, it was just kind of not so happy little trees, but it was very soothing just to kind of watch.
Yeah, I went ahead and jumped the gun because I get angsty. You know, we set up an hour early because I got a huge shout out to Coach Casey. He lets us crash his studio at Middle of the Road podcast, and he's my co-host on the Saturday podcast as well. So
I don't think we finished one since we started painting here, have we?
No,
we
went
keep
to
changing them.
and we went to every other week. Try to, unless something comes up. So, yeah, we got Kelley E. Parks. She's a author of several good books. I've got them. We'll pull the slides up and we can talk about that in a little bit. Everybody, get your questions ready. And
we're starting to jump on.
So I think you want to take the helm after I've already took the helm.
Sure. Got to do one shout out though, because we've had some fellow artists, tattoo artists, at our first ever River City tattoo convention.
Expo, yeah.
Haven't had one in over 20 years here.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. It's actually kind of cool. They didn't have any live bands, so I went up to the head guy and talked to him about that. He said next year.
Next year.
I guess it costs too much to add the stage. I'm like, okay, we'll find someone to sponsor that stage.
Yeah.
Leave it to convention center to charge you extra for everything that's in there, man. It's insane.
Miss Santia, how are you doing? Got the braids in your hair today. I seen that. Unless that's an old picture. She's our other host. But it's windy as I'll get out here. It's very windy. So I don't know. How's the weather down? You're in Dallas, right?
Yeah, it's like 90, 92 degrees already. I'd be lying if I told you I had socks and shoes on. I don't. It's just barefoot. And, if this is too busy back here, the way it's kind of blowing in the wind, well, it's got to be because I got to have my ceiling fan on. Pure and simple. And it rained. It's been, I'm not going to go all weather girl on you, but this has been kind of a weird season for us. So we didn't get frozen. Yay. So far. Never know what it's going to be in Texas, but it has been pretty rainy. And I hope that this humidity is not going to bring a boat ton of rain this week, but it's starting to get into the, what's coming here pretty soon. So we're not ready. I'm not ready.
We're still dodging tornadoes and stuff. So
see, so I can't complain. I get it. That's scary business.
Yeah, it got hot here today. Me and the kid went by the walk down by the river, and I was sweating, and I was like, I'm not ready to sweat. I ran right home and hopped in the shower, and
like, I'm gonna go home.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll throw some paint at it now.
Kevin's gonna throw some paint at it now.
Where should I add some white?
So, like I said, this one we started out. We finished it in 2021. I don't know what episode we did. It ended up with like a fist-size hole, like I said, about right by her fist. And so it had set, out of commission, collecting dust. And so I was like, it came up on like a memory or something on YouTube, and I was like, "Where's this painting go, Kevin?" He's like, "Oh, it's at the house with a big old hole." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Well, give it to me. We'll patch it." And I've kind of been watching an artist that kind of does process art, I think is what he calls it, where he'll draw something and then take some stickers and kind of destroy it and then redraw it and do that a couple, 3-4 times, and that looks kind of fun, not to have even less rules, and I think it kind of fit for what combining our styles. It's always fun collabing.
When I was in college, I painted a lot more back then than I did now, and it's a process. I don't have to tell you. And there was, you ever know how like cheap napkins kind of have that bumpy perforation on them sometimes, where they have some kind of texture. So there was wet paint on a canvas, and at some point a napkin landed on this hot pink piece. And so somebody was coming over and talking to me and just kind of fixating. This was before, fidget toys. You'd mess with whatever you had on hand, basically. And she starts kind of nipping at the paper, and she thought it was something that I'd done on purpose. And she said, "Oh my God, I just ruined your art." I'm like, "That's $50. I really worked hard on that." And it was just a napkin in the paint, but I got $50 richer. So that was when I found out you could make money on your art and creations. It was like, maybe this college thing isn't for me, but they didn't let me drop out. So it worked out. But suffice to say, that's like kind of decoupage, napkin in the neon paint, leave it be, don't pick at it, and then you'll never know what you come up with next.
That's the fun of the kind of the chaos. You just never know. You never know. Santia has a question. She's asking, what got you inspired to start writing? And just when you all get to that part, okay, yeah. So yeah,
we'll get there. No rush.
We're to that part. We're hit live.
Okay, before we get there, Josh, let me just tell you, thank you for having me. 2, for taking on all my very half-baked ideas in Facebook Messenger, whether that's like, hey, let's make a disco sign. It'll be cool. It didn't happen. But he was willing. Thank you for trying to make me a David Bowie sticker for a model car. Also didn't happen, but I'm going to put that on the back shelf, and it will happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it will happen. Okay. So that's 2. There's probably about 13 more. And I do have something else cooking, but we'll talk about it later. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, good. I enjoy. That's the fun part of it, is somebody coming to me with ideas and then, just making it happen.
But we're not making it happen, but they're very good ideas. And I know you'd be willing to help me.
We'll get there. You should think of how many, I think of like 100 ideas every day, and like 2 of them a month come to fruition,
Okay, so how many paintings do you have in the works where it's like, no, it's trust the process, it's going to work, we're going to make it all work out?
Well, Kevin says 0. I don't know. Can you hear him over on that mic?
I was rambling.
Oh, can you hear me on this mic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. But
how many? I mean, I have a bunch in process, but is the process going to work? I don't know.
Only one way to find out, man.
Yeah. I've done 2 in like a month, which I went. They were the first 2 of this year, just because life was lifing. I had a move to do, and so there's been a lot of things on my plate, and so everything was kind of scattered with the move, and so I finally, I got them all together, and then once we started doing this again, at least all the paints were there, and for a little bit at least, it was getting me through. But then I was like, okay, I need some paint therapy, because it's it's good way to escape the world.
Okay, so you 2 collaborate on various pieces, and this is what's cooking right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do our separate stuff, and this one is the one we're doing for the podcast right now.
Even though we got another one we started on another podcast.
Yeah. But that one was kind of my vision, and I haven't started working on it solely and stolen it yet, but I'm like, I'm going to finish this one.
You do that on all of them, man, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, yeah, but I don't have, sometimes you have the vision, and
I have absolutely 0 vision.
No, it's coming together. I see. I like it. I used to be that person that didn't want to start another book before the other one was finished. And in like the last 4 years, it's like, you know what? I don't care. Contrary to popular belief, I can remember the main central plot to that book, leave it, and then pick up something else. It was like, well, this book was way better anyway. But yeah, I'll go back to that old crappy book. No problem. Yeah. And so it's not so bad. Or it's like, I didn't want to have 13 candles. It was like, no, burn that one down. And when it's ended, then start another one. So it's, I'm not going to call that obsessive necessarily, but I'm trying to get more like finish what you started, because if I did, there'd be a lot more production. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to walk away, take 3 steps away from it and be like, good night. We'll come back later. Yeah, and I think that's okay. And I think that makes it better. And the last minute ideas, you know, I was putting up stars in our little sound check, whatnot, very quickly, hoping I wouldn't fall and have to page you from the ER and say, Josh, honey, I really wanted to be on your show, but I busted my leg. Luckily, it worked. Okay.
Thankfully.
I know, right? But, you know, it was like, man, that'd be cool. And so why didn't I think of that 72 hours ago?
Yeah.
Bullshitting around the house place yesterday. Why didn't I do it then? And it's like the better happens like right at the dead instant.
Yeah. Procrastination pays off.
Sometimes it works out by default. Exactly. Not all the time. You can tell when there's, you know, things that's like, whoo, I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing that. What time was it? Well, it was already due. It was 8:68 in the morning. But I don't think that's the worst thing. So this, I'm really getting to like how this is coming together on the right. My right, probably your left.
Still my right, but yeah, it's basically the same painting. We're just repainting it and hopefully improving it. You know, I mean, the end will tell, but I think we're both liking where it's going better, because we both had things that bothered us about the original painting. And that was 21. That was one we probably finished in one session. We used to, you know, finish a painting in an hour.
Oh.
And so like, you know, that's a lot of rushing. And I mean, Kevin comes from like speed chalk art, pastels. What's the technical term of that, Kevin?
Yeah,
he says so. So he comes from that and where he can finish a piece in 30 minutes. And even with his painting, he usually cranks them out pretty fast once he gets started on them.
Ooh, man, that's a gift.
I previously was like taking months and months and months to finish things.
But I don't add as much detail as you do when I do it that fast. So,
yeah.
But when I go slower, which I've proven to people that I can do it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, and then do you guys take these to markets and
change that grill? But
do art shows?
Well, we've been doing some vending. It's kind of lessened here recently, at least for me, and I think even Kevin's doing a little bit of less vending. But he's been You were vending all weekend, right?
No, not this time. I was just hanging out.
Yeah, okay.
Getting in the way of
Savannah.
Yeah, a tattoo artist friend of mine.
Yeah, okay.
I was her walking billboard, so I came up there and I show some people, but she had a few people she was doing, but she was doing mostly walk-ins.
Yeah,
and it's amazing. Walk-ins is the way to go there, because people come up and, you know, they paid for the table the first night.
Yeah,
and for the tattoo artist, it was like $1,100.
Yeah, for
the vendors, it was around $400. I don't know if they had artists though, tables, because usually us artists are poor, so we can't afford the $400 table.
No, I would not be able to.
Because even like Planet Comic-Con and stuff like that, even though that one's huge, you know, the vending table was like a couple thousand.
Yeah,
but the artist tables are like 300. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Planet Comic-Con. Is that like the normal Comic-Cons with Avengers and this, that, and the other?
I mean,
yeah, it's
I don't.
It's the big one around here. That's in Kansas City. It probably gets a few 100,000 people there over the weekend. There
is probably once a month of those, if not more, now that it's warmer in Dallas. And people have said, it doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter if you sell kids' books. You should go to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Okay. There's that. So I haven't, and the tables are super expensive, and people are like, nah. It's like, no, I've got to make the rent of the table. There's no sense in going if it's just going to be this exorbitant amount. And so they said it doesn't matter what you sell. So have you found that to be true, or do you want to stick to the comic books and the anime and all that stuff I really don't know about?
I traveled with an author the first 3 to 4 years, and she was actually one of the very few that started she did like a supernatural horror supernatural type thing. And she was one of the first ones actually doing it. And they always have the artist rows, and at the big ones, it's about $300, and that's Kansas City one. The smaller ones here in Wichita, there's 2 of them, the ICT one and the Air Cap one. The tables aren't quite as much. I really don't know because I'm friends with both. They always give me free tables, so I don't know what they cost. So obviously they give me a free because I'm MCing or something. But you just got to kind of shop around and see what would work for you too.
Is the foot traffic pretty okay? I mean, the Dallas ones, there's pick and choose.
You can't count it. You can't. I did it for up pre-COVID, anywhere up to 3 to 4 conventions a month. Now, I wasn't really doing much, but helping my friend out. But I was traveling also as a certain serial killer clown.
We're not talking about that certain
anybody I know?
Captain Spaulding.
I was like, is there something I need to know, Kevin?
No, Pogo.
I work for a fairly large print company here in Wichita. And we normally don't get things top secret through. So, I always just to try to get content, post some things. Yeah. And I always vague post anyhow, unless it's, Kevin or somebody I know that, I know the artist. But
when I did those bumper stickers, they're huge. I made these 12-inch stickers like the old school bumper stickers.
Well, we've got somebody coming through town, a big star that is we had printed some stuff for, and I made the post, and then we were not supposed to tell anybody about that. And I'm like, oh shit.
Oh,
you mean Lou Ferrigno?
Yep. Yep, exactly.
I've known about him for a while now, but I'm also friends with the people that run the convention.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Sure.
Well, he's been posted out anyway through the.
Well, don't get me in trouble with anybody. That's not what I'm talking about. No.
There's some others.
I think it was Batman.
Which one?
That one.
And did you say there hadn't been a tattoo show in Wichita in a while?
It's going on right now. It's probably going to wrap up here soon.
But prior to that one,
there hadn't been one for 20 some years. Yeah.
Why? Dallas has one probably about every 6
word. Wichita. Wichita would not allow even tattoos done downtown until this last year.
Oh, wow.
And so even now we said that it's been over 20 years. Downtown Wichita hasn't had a convention probably in ever. It's always been a suburb of Wichita, like Park City or Valley Center or something like that, where they've done it. So
I don't know about that because I remember going to one at some point. I mean, it may have been 20 years. I'm old enough to where
that was Park City.
No, the Century 2, but it could have been 20 years
ago.
ago.
I was also in combat then, so I wouldn't know. I wasn't around then, so but I remember going to one that was in Park City. Yeah. And they hadn't had any there. But Wichita, for some reason, when it comes to our downtown, it gets weird at times, and they start shutting everything down on us. So I don't know what's going on there. I hope it stays because when I saw it was coming, I really was hoping they were going to do live music. So I'm in a band, and I was hoping my band would get to play.
My band.
This is a different band, though. But
have you guys lived in Wichita the whole time?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you guys grow up in Wichita or what?
I grew up outside of Wichita, a small town, and so did Josh. we're both not Wichitanians per se, but
in Kansas.
But it's the biggest city near us. What's the biggest city period in Kansas? But but I've I know Dallas Fort Worth area is just huge. But
yeah.
So I know there's stuff going on there all the time.
That's why it was kind of a trip that you said it hadn't been, because these tattoo shows go just from city and city and city on the circuit. So the fact that it hasn't stopped in your neck of the woods.
Nothing stops in Wichita.
Well,
a lot of times when those big nationwide concerts and stuff going through, they always end up in Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, but they always skip past Wichita. Now they'll stay here, but they won't do a show here.
That's
so it's kind of weird. It's improved a little, but it's always been that way. There's been so many stars that would come through town, and because you knew somebody they'd be like, "Hey, man, I'm looking for a group of people to hang out with," and every once in a while you get a call from somebody because we're all in the entertainment field too, and somebody would call them and say, "Hey, Kevin, Harrison Ford's in town. He just wanted to hang out and drink with me. He comes here to fix his planes all the time."
Oh.
And stuff like that. But there's other people that come through too. And all of a sudden you get a call and they say, "Hey, they're just looking for somebody to hang out with that's not going to fanboy or fangirl out on them."
Right.
And Wichita's really good about that per se. We really don't. You could be the president of the United States. The only reason we really know you're there is because you got a hell of a security detail. But other than that, most people don't. I mean, there's still the ones every once in a while. But people in Wichita just don't.
See, if the Secret Service was a little bit smarter, I think they'd get, a 1992 Corolla and drive the president around in that versus 7, 8 black Suburbans down the main highway and have it's like, you put him in the back of my car, I'll have him there in one piece before the deadline. And ain't nobody going to know who that
is. If for some reason a bomb or a rifle or somebody hits it, it is going to blow up. So
put them in your mom's.
I've seen the vehicle personally that they ride in. Those things are basically tanks. So it's
not conspicuous at all.
But I get what you're saying. Send them out as the decoy, and then you can ride around in your little, 2-passenger car.
Brains, people, come on and think. So now, do you guys go to shows in Tulsa then? Is that a thing where you are to go see a big band somewhere?
A lot of people from around here do. I don't so much anymore, but I used to.
Okay. How far are you from Tulsa? I'm trying to get the logistics in my head. And I think I'm
3 hours, would you say? About a 3-hour drive.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the same with Oklahoma City. We can get to Dallas. I almost said Denver in 9 hours.
9? Lord,
you're basically straight across Oklahoma from us. And it's a straight drive.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going around any curves. So it doesn't take long to get across Oklahoma. It takes about 9 hours. Yeah. We're not that far. A lot of people don't realize. I mean, we're within 10 hours of.
I think everybody realizes.
Well,
it's forever.
We're in the middle of the United States, so we're equal to everybody. So we don't have to worry about it. But we're only 10 hours from New Orleans. It doesn't seem like it when you look at it, but yeah, we're 10 hours from New Orleans, and that's not speeding to get there either.
All right.
That's just a drive. I mean, because no matter what you do when you cross Kansas, it's just a straight drive.
This is our geography lesson with Kevin.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Trust everything he says.
You just put your car on autopilot, go to sleep, wake up, and
Wake
still
up,
be on the same road.
I like to have the big picture of who I'm talking to, because
Are
half
you
of
in
that drive is probably getting across Texas once you're in here and you're going.
If I'm going from basically that part, because you're on our side of Texas, but I have driven over to what's that border town over there by New Mexico?
More than one.
El Paso.
Oh, yeah.
One of them. Okay, I thought it was boring going across western Kansas, but that part of Texas is even longer, and you're going by the border patrols and everything. It was insane.
Yes, you have to be careful when you're down and about over there.
Because San Antonio wasn't that bad, but it's still
No.
But, so yeah, I've been pretty well traveled because we traveled all over the place doing the Comic Cons, but also ran for the track team and been in the military. So I've been a little bit of everything in my life. Yeah, I've been around, man. So which part of Dallas do you actually live in?
The big part.
The big part. That helps out.
So it's North Dallas. And if you do know the major highways, I'm pretty in the middle of 635. So one thing about here is just these are long ass roads, east or west, north or south. And so it's like, okay, well, yeah, which part?
You're actually in the close part of Dallas to us. Then.
I would be on the top, yes. So if you're up this way-ish, then I will be not as low as it could be. Right. And when you are that close to so many intersections and you can just jump on and be somewhere ideally in 15 minutes, I make it sound a lot easier than it is with Dallas traffic. But you get used to it.
If you know how to do it wherever you're at, it gets easy. I mean,
very much so.
There's a weird pattern to every city. Every city has a weird pattern. You just got to know it.
Know which tolls to get off before they charge you. Yeah. Like there's a method to the madness. There's a reason we're going 80 miles an hour. It's not that we drive fast. It's just we got more land to cover. It's not our fault. We just got to move, you know? So
that's pretty much once you get outside of Wichita. That's how it works too. You just go.
Drive it like you stole it. Isn't that what they say? But
so tell us about your books.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We got to talk about those. Okay.
You want to read it to us? No, I'm just kidding.
Please turn the page, if you will. So I have got 4 books.
I've got pictures of them there. Slide up.
Okay.
Kevin.
It's okay. I got it. We're visual.
No, I see it. But I see it. They're right there, but
yeah, we got
an idea. All the people that are listening probably know. There we go. Okay. And luckily for me, they're very picturesque books and match the summertime green grass in Dallas, which I'm thankful for. That grass right there is from the big rainy ass spring. Okay. So all I had to do was just kind of toss them in the grass and line them up, and luckily for me, they photograph well. That's one thing about still art is you don't have to bitch at it to, okay, look this way, look to the right, don't move, get in the light. Yeah. They do what I tell them to at first drop. So I like that.
What was that? Which one was your first one? Tonya Lasagna?
No, sir. Mustache Dash. And that might be the one that you have.
I think I got When a Beard Gets Weird. I think I got both of those.
Okay. Well, then that's very appropriate. And I'm glad you have those too if you're going to have any of my books. So the Mustache Dash is my baby. That's my firstborn. And you'll notice the illustrations on that one look a little bit different than the other guys because I had a friend illustrating. And that was kind of one of those things where she had never illustrated really before. I look for people who are talented, who, if they do have tattoos, usually those are artistic people because at some point or another they had a vision. So message out there, if you are a tattoo artist or if you like to draw, send me some Post-it notes, and you never know. I got projects out the yin yang. So Ray,
maybe we can do one of your covers live here.
That would be fun. I like it. It could be a rendition. I'm fine with that. One day, Josh and I are going to finish a project. It just hadn't come around just yet.
Yeah, I think we've had some talks, but it's, like I said, life is always life. And
she was just hiring you though, because that's what you do. I get it.
Really?
I really don't do it like he does.
Kevin's getting offended over here. We've offended Kevin.
I'm not offended.
There's one in every crowd, man. It's okay.
Because he does the digital. He's doing videos for my band right now.
Awesome.
Like he does the digital. He does shirts. He does hats. He does a little bit of
everything.
Yeah.
I don't see ever doing t-shirts ever again. Wow. So I think I'm going to have to sell that shit. which is all right. I had fun while it lasted, but
I have a single one for silk screen. I don't know if I'm gonna go past that or not because I like doing this stuff too much. Is the problem.
yeah. I mean, here recently, like I said, I haven't done any digital stuff other than the videos and stuff for the podcast.
Because of life,
I've been painting, and I mean, right now that's where I'm getting most satisfaction out. Sitting staring at a screen just doesn't.
It wears you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never enjoyed it, so that's why I never got into it.
Yeah.
But like right now, I'm doing a lot of merch for my band, and I'm hand painting hats and shirts and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
That's where a lot of my energy is going right now.
Well, it's definitely an endeavor, and I respect anybody who's trying to make something better or just one of a kind. And on a personal note, I took my dad to see the Rolling Stones in Houston. And so that's a 4 or 5 hour drive. We did it at the end of April for his birthday.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, that is a long story, but let's not drive. We have a little bit of money in this airline account, and that's the long story part. Let's just fly. We'll be there in 45 minutes flat. Me, I like it because that's not a very picturesque driving down south. Yeah. So I made my own t-shirt for that show with the vinyl machine. And it was the first t-shirt I'd ever made. So suffice to say, luckily it worked out. But I couldn't get the lyric on the back to add here. Not in this fuchsia color that I wanted. I love this stuff, by the way. I'm going to probably leave this up until St. Patrick's Day. And if I had wallpaper like this, I think I could die a happy woman. Yeah. But anyway, so I wanted this kind of color on the back of the shirt. Didn't work out. I ended up with this chameleon green, which was fine. But the obscure lyric I put on the back of the shirt, they played the song. And it was the first time I'd heard it played live. And my dad was like, I think your shirt had something to do with that. But it was really cool. So all of that to be said, everything I do, I hope I'm communicating with Ronnie Wood and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards that they'll get my vibe. And they did, so it worked. So yes, keep creating for God's sakes because it works. Okay.
Well, what was the song lyric now? Let's see if we can guess it.
No. Do you want the lyric and then you guess the song or vice versa?
Yeah, give us the lyric and see if we could guess it.
You're not gonna guess it, but I'll give it to you anyway, because I'm that person. The sunshine bores the daylights out of me.
The sunshine bores the daylight out of me.
Yes.
It was 20th Century. Was it off of that album?
No.
The one with the birthday cake?
No, but similar. And if I give you the album, I'm not going to do that. It's catchy. I think it's track 2. So you message me. I'll probably be awake at 12:47 tomorrow morning. And when it comes after you Google it and wiki and all that stuff that people had to do. But I'm one of the few ones that's the nerd out there to actually put it on a t-shirt. And it worked. Sure, so that's what I'm saying. Put your art and your message on t-shirts and you might just get the song.
Everybody's going to guess it's probably going to be her. Did you listen to that, Satya? Did you hear it? I don't think she's still on.
I don't know. But back to Santia's answer or question, right? We didn't circle on that. What got you into writing? I mean, you said you've been to college, you kind of were artist, painting. You've always been creative, right?
I try. I think that's relative to different people. I think that I like to write. I think I'm okay at writing. A 3rd grade teacher said, actually, this is pretty good at a journal entry. And it's like, well, do you like what I'm writing about? Is that the fact? Or do you like my style of writing? You're an English teacher. So I never really found out the answer. She was like, no, you write well with, prepositional phrases and grammar. Or if she just liked what I was blithering on about on notebook paper. I'll never know. And that's fine. I mailed her a book probably 4 or 5 years ago and just say, look, I wanted you to know that you told me I was a good writer in the 3rd grade and I made this. I never heard back from her. So maybe she didn't get the book. Okay. She may not remember me, but I don't think she's that way. Or she may have been like, see, I told you, you never know. There's something that I'll never know the answer to. And that's okay. So I keep going, but I did my part to thank her, I think. So the Mustache Dash, what started the madness, I guess, is that, how when you're asleep and the snooze button you've hit about 19, 20 times, I'm that person. And so you maybe think, okay, I really need a haircut today. And then you kind of fade off, but you're still actively thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was like, I wonder what would happen at some point if like hair or a mustache jumped off of its owner's face. And it's like, Jesus, that would hurt. And so by the time I'm doing hair and makeup and going in the job, by the time I got to the job on Post-it notes, I had kind of scrawled this stuff out. It was like, that's kind of a cool idea. And then the mustache would run off and go on all these various escapades and adventure. And it's like, then you don't have to go with that person. You could just go on your own. Yeah. So that's what that was. So I'm not going to say it was a dream, but between snooze buttons and some kind of weird universal vibe, that's how that one happened.
Yeah. So that's what happens. That's the story I'm going to start telling about my beard. My beard was not quite as long as his, but it was like what, a month ago.
And
I had to shave it off. I had to shave it off for some work reasons.
Oh,
and now I can grow it back. So
process. So that just goes to show, don't try so hard at something. Just sort of, if it's meant to be, it'll be organic and it'll come through. If you just beat it to, it's kind of like when you do your hair and you keep messing with it, it's going to look horrible. Just kind of let it go. And maybe later on, especially with Texas humidity, the reason our hair is so big is because it's so damn humid down here. It's not hairspray. We're not screwing with it. It's because of the humidity and the moisture in the air.
Stuck in the 80s.
Yeah.
Man. They're stuck in the 80s.
Big hair.
Bing. Problem solved. Yeah. So there's that. Just that one. I really didn't have much to do with that one. And I was on a budget. The friend was kind enough to illustrate it. And I like her work. I don't want to make her work for me necessarily, but she'll always be near and dear because she helped me out. And we were both on a budget. Okay. Low budget. Yeah. But so then if you write a mustache book and you start clienteling with mustache people like yourself, you got to write a beard book. So that's how the second, it goes in a circle. So like mustache is first, then up and right is When a Beard Gets Weird. Left is Tonya Lasagna, back down to Rats and Hats. So that's the order in a reverse square, if you will. And had I said it once, I'll say it again. If I had not gone to the beard show in 2019, I probably wouldn't have done a beard book. So it works out. And it was a timing thing when I bought plane tickets and was able to be a vendor with the Austin Facial Hair Group. I didn't know anybody, but it was like, well, it beats what I'm doing here, which was writing papers for my master's. Have either of you guys ever slept with a laptop before? No. Well, in truth, it doesn't drool. There's no, it doesn't make much noise. There's no snoring. It just kind of does updates every once in a while. It can be peaceful. But that was what I was sharing a bed with for that 6 months. And it was like, I got to do it. So I had no intention of going to that show. But then here we are 4 books later. They're not all about facial hair. But the first 2 got me started. And that's because I met you guys, among other people. So you get the mustaches getting jealous of the beard guys. I got to keep them happy. So I wrote a beard book too. So I may not be done with the facial hair.
Go get the goatees and
waves.
The whole series of facial hair books.
The chops. Let's see.
It gets hard to I got tired. I mean, for a while there, I was doing, kind of all beard related artwork and stuff. And
it's a lot.
You run, it seems, at least for me, I ran my 15 minutes of fame real fast. And so now I just do weird stuff. I don't limit it to just beards or it's just, we're doing weird stuff. You gonna throw some more paint on there, Kevin?
I'm thinking about it.
For this conversation is so fantastic. He's just gonna stay and talk to us, but it's coming along really nicely. I love green and blue. I think those are 2 of the most complementary colors. I don't know
why it's not sliding us up here.
It's kind of just stuck.
It pops instead of moving us up and where we can see everybody, it throws the comment on there. But Santia says she slept with the laptop on accident.
Well, I was doing it on purpose to try to make
Santia telling us her sex life again.
Yeah.
I like her already. She gets what I'm saying. But
and then the lyrics. You might know that song. Have her say the lyrics again.
all you have to do is Google it, but I am not surprised at all, and that doesn't mean anything. That was the lyric that got me out of bed for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
For everybody else, and probably not many people at the show on the floor knew that. It's just that that's what clung into my nucleus. Okay. But I know what has worked for me. I know what makes me happy, and nobody else gets it. And you know what? I don't care. I'm fine with that. Hold up that plate. That looks like a poodle on the plate. All right.
Poodle on the plate.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see it? Yeah. I was noticing that a moment ago. You might leave that alone for a minute. Throw a napkin in it. See if that gives it some texture for fur. I don't have a dog right now. I miss him. I'd get a poodle if I did, a black one.
Yeah. Most of our paint palettes are plates, and they're usually layered, several. So they're thick, and sometimes you can't tell what's paint and what's not, and you'll be
it happened to you too.
Having accidents. So I don't know.
Happy accidents. Like a lot of children. Well, fun. Do you get to paint and create as much? I mean, maybe not as much as you'd like to, but is this a weekend gig, or you do some late on a Wednesday night?
I try to paint all the time anymore. I try to create all the time at the house, but we paint. We do the podcast every 2 weeks, and so we get together and do our thing. Sometimes we have, vending gigs where maybe we'll paint, or some charity. But
I almost always do live. It's kind of not Josh's thing. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm so used to the other place. So yeah, I'm used to I do live a lot, where Josh is not quite his gig, but he'll still do it.
I think the last one I finished live when you were rock starring it out and didn't feel like painting.
Oh, when I was rock starred.
Yeah, and then even
my last. Oh yeah, you showed up late.
Mo Pigs. No, not that one.
No, the.
Well, yeah, fourth. You did that one. You had that one finished before I got there. Yeah,
you got there, and all of a sudden I was done.
Yeah,
I was already done.
But yeah, so it just you got to feel it. You got to be in the mood to do it. And working 8 hours for me really drains me, and it's hard to get. I get home, I got to get the kid fed, and I got stuff to take care of around the house, and so get her to bed, and so 9 o'clock I'll usually start, and if I've got the gas in my tank to put a couple hours in, I'll paint.
Well, that was a Saturday one. So what were you actually had something else going on?
Yeah, I was getting back from Oklahoma on that particular one. But yeah.
Okay, so is there anything out there besides no, I can sell this one for $400 or what have you? I don't know. I've asked you about your pricing. You're working on it. You'll let me know. But what motivates you to be like, God, I'm really tired right now, but I can do this if I get in front of it and stand and start. Because to me, if you looked around here, there's probably 19 projects that are very half-baked. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. It is what it is. But it's like, focus on this stuff, but you keep getting this or, oh, let's do that or blah, blah, blah. And not, there's always something competing, I guess. So what kind of motivates you to get in motion, if you will?
Well, for me, the vision. And then I typically don't have several started. So it's like, I get to the point where I'm sick of looking at this one. I want to get this one done and start another one, so that's how it works for me. I mean, not to say that I've never had 2 or 3 started and rotations. And I mean, I guess I always, I don't paint this, off camera or when we're not together. I try to leave these. I mean, rarely will I.
You might touch it up and finish it.
Yeah. I may finish some really thoughts on it, use up some paint or something, but typically I won't, work on our pieces, joint pieces solo. And so, but like I said, that's kind of gives me the fix. But here recently, it's just, I want to get them done and get on to the next one. Because I've already got the vision for the next one. It's been percolating in my head for, a month now. And I'm like, originally was going to do it digitally, but then decided that, like I said, I haven't been getting much fulfillment out of digital art. I mean, I still enjoy it. I love it because it's, if you don't like something, you can just hide that layer or whatever. The changes of it is, I can change things a lot easier. But even with acrylic, you can undo. It takes a little bit more to undo, but
we've covered up and then redone so many pieces in the past.
Yeah.
If we have a piece that's been sitting around for a while and we look at it one day, we're like, okay, we're redoing this.
Yeah.
And we've completely made it into something else. We've updated a couple others too, though.
Yeah.
Do these stay in your line of vision where it's just like, I'm over here, finish me now? Or are you like, no, put that one to the back and I promise I won't forget about it. 6 months later, lo and behold, you forgot.
Yeah.
It's a mix of both, probably.
Yeah.
A mix of both, because I'll have some sitting out and I keep looking at it to the point where I stop looking at it and this just disappears, even though it's sitting there. And then you got others where you'll be digging through. Oh, that's where that one went. I thought I sold it. Dang it.
I think a lot of it depends on, how we're feeling on it, even on our individual stuff. Because I know I've seen he'd been posting a lot more. I mean, it's been band stuff, but he'll like, where'd that one go? And he's like, it's on the back burner for now. Or
right. I don't tell people a lot of things of what I'm working on, or I don't really tell people plans because invariably they'll be like, well, how's that going for you? And it's like, it's not going. We're in neutral. That's how it's going for me. Or, hey, what about that one thing? No, that we're not thinking about that right now. We're not focusing. No. So
we really don't either.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't either. I mean, when we're done, we're done. And when we're not. Because too many people, and we deal with, and you probably see it too with the entertainment field. We got a big surprise coming up in a month. A month gets there, and the big surprise isn't quite that. All these people try to build up hype for no reason. Me, I'm like, yeah, we got 10 songs done, but they're not ready. And when they are ready, oh, look, here's our CD, guys.
Look what happened.
It's like our video. Hey, look, we got a video now. Here, check it out. We didn't build it up or nothing, man. I just flat out said it's over here on YouTube. Go check it out.
I think you just proved that the surprise element is 90% of it and is so much better if you play your cards right. So keep it on the down low. If it works, yay, we'll both be happy. But then if not, it's like, no, tweak it. Give me 6 weeks, not 4. So do you have a specific place in your homes where you have a little studio or a setup or an art corner or something? Or does it just wherever we're going to fling some paint?
I think his whole house is an art studio. I got the garage.
Okay.
So I got a little corner in the garage.
I got a 3-bedroom house where I paint or I draw or I do music or I do costuming. And I'm back into doing photos again. So I'll be just sitting down pretty much wherever my dog's sitting and I start painting or doing whatever. She's getting real clingy lately. So I don't know if she's too much longer for this world or not.
Oh.
But right now I'm painting in my kitchen. And I get on the piano that I got from you and I play it every once in a while. So I'm afraid when I go downstairs and do stuff, I'll hear the clunk, 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 and my dog falling down the stairs again. So,
no.
So when I go down, if I know I'm going to go down there for a while, I'll just grab her and take her down with me.
So it sounds like you kind of land where you feel comfortable. For me, it's like, oh, I'd have that done lickety split if I could do it in my bedroom. Or I don't want to get paint on the couch, or I don't want to start that project there. Like, let me do it in this one little spot. It's warm back here when it's cold. Let me focus on here. It's like, no, leave it where it is and don't spread it all over from hell to breakfast and get it done. Go in there, get off your lazy rear and move. So I was just curious,
Oh, not even in the house. I'll just pick up some days and go to some local dive bar that I've never been to before. Go in there. I won't even really say anything to the people. I say, hey, can I do some painting and stuff? So I'll set up my stuff. That's about it. And then I'll set up a few extra pieces. And people have been drinking by. So especially if it's a new environment for me and no one's ever seen me.
Like I said, my tactic on my solo artwork and maybe even some of our art assault pieces, they're not going to be for sale, the originals, because I'm trying to eventually get into a gallery that's where I want to be, just to say I've been there. There's nothing, just to say I've been there. And so I'm gonna try to do some reprints of everything. Probably do some like my normal prints that I do, but then I'm thinking, maybe some fancy paper or some.
We are on a list for 2025.
Yeah, I figured. So that's kind of what I'm working for.
Oh my gosh, COVID killed me, man. Because I was on like 4 lists, and you were on some of them with me. And then COVID hit; they canceled them all. Everybody said they're going to call us back.
Yeah.
And when I go, hey, when are you going to start scheduling people? Oh, we've already been doing that. And I'm like, you were supposed to call me, bro. And so now we have to wait even longer for all these places.
Yeah,
So
Go see them, follow up, get in their face.
oh, we are.
We're already halfway through 2024, so we'll be there in no time.
By the time I figured it out halfway through 2023, I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? Yeah. So but it's not a driving force for me because I'll drive in the middle of town, set up on a corner, and just start painting. I don't care.
Nice.
That's where I'm a little different.
I've tried to get less concerned about the cells and just to create because I mean it's if you're creating just to sell it or to please other people, it doesn't seem
You're gonna be very disappointed.
good. So the series that I'm we're kind of working on is Artificial World is what even the first one that I haven't took over yet, but I may take over. We may finish it. We'll probably finish it on here.
We were doing pretty good, and then we just kind of redid it and covered everything we did up. It was it really did. I think we made it too small.
It didn't give us much room. But like I said, you can undo and paint over things, and so we did the second episode we did with it. And so basically, it looks the same as it did when we started. And so I had this one patched, and I really was feeling ready to give this one a second stab.
I think we brought it out even more today. Having that darker background help.
Yeah.
I like her little pink fingernails.
I
Minuscule
don't
detail,
pink
but
pink,
I like it.
I thought about doing her eyes too, but I got out late because we can always cover it up if we don't later.
The original one wasn't very pretty looking. She looked kind of manly.
Well, her head was bigger too.
So we're trying. I want her to look horrifically pretty. I mean,
kind of like the original.
If looks could kill.
Yes.
Got it.
So
see, that's where we clash sometimes because I was doing it off the old hot rod art where the things are just ugly and gnarly.
But
some of the women,
the ones that I was drawn to, the women were not hideous. I mean, they were beautiful. Everything else was hideous and rotten around them, but they were. So Jessica Rabbit.
I understood that part too. But see, mine, but Jessica Rabbit's not in a hot rod. Because Jessica Rabbit in a hot rod, she had big old eyes bulging. Her body would be tight, but that'd be about it.
You remember when Roger Rabbit gets really irked and he's like, move over, I'm driving. He's like, but I want to drive. That's me most of the time down 75. And this girl in your painting is probably driving in Dallas because her hair is huge and flying. So she's but I want to drive.
Yeah.
I love Roger Rabbit. That's
very good.
A wonderful movie to go see as an adult. And I did that. And I was like, man, I was such a child of summer when I watched this at 5 years old. That was one of the first movies I saw in the theater, which is cool.
Yeah, my parents took me and they were a little in shock. And then I didn't, but then I watched it as an adult and I was like, yeah, that's kind of, I didn't get that joke then, but I get it now. I'm like, wow.
But the liquor store guy, he knew. Oh, that makes me happy. I love it. I kind of like this Sunday night show. You guys might be onto something. The drama hadn't started yet. We're winding down from the last week.
Yeah.
Sunday breeze makes me feel fine. It kind of sounds like a feminine commercial. We don't have to talk about it.
Well, because of your background, I keep expecting to see some kind of hand puppet come up, like a sheep or something.
I keep thinking Diana Ross, like with all this wind and everything else. It was like, this is my
I'm still expecting hand puppets to show up, like you're on the Muppets or something. All of a sudden, there's
with this
with the backdrop,
out of the backdrop.
Virus.
He must not know about my Facebook picture, huh?
Well, I don't
He's a Muppet.
Yeah.
That's okay. We'll be friends after this show.
Are
if
you sure
friend
about
me.
that?
Oh, be nice, kid. Kevin's being ornery. But yeah, I think we got about 6 more minutes before we really wrap it up here. Where's the best way people could find your books?
Okay. So if you don't mind being my middleman, and if they message you, just send them, just say, hey, reach out to this person on Facebook. Definitely. I am Kelley Park. If I type in do I type in the comments or the private chat for a pop?
Comments will pop up to everybody. We can flash that up.
In Facebook, correct?
Either one.
Oh, God. Okay, let me see what I can do. Maybe.
Either one should pop up here.
Okay.
I don't have access to the Talking Beards stuff. Just, we just broadcast on their page. But the Room Green broadcast, I definitely should have access to.
All right, let me see what I can do.
I don't know if we've been getting their comments and stuff. I go back and look, and on the Talking Beard, they got like millions of views off of our stuff, and we get 2. It's like the algorithm doesn't, it doesn't work for us on that. But
that's why they keep us around, though.
Kelley Park.
Yes, sir. If you just find me and message me, we'll make a deal, okay? And I figured Jeff Bezos has enough money, and he's like living on the moon right now. I can't even quite get into a house, so do the math. And if you message me, it'll work out, and I'll cover your shipping, no problem. They are on Amazon, okay? But again, Jeff Bezos, spaceship.
He started in a garage, though, so you got to give that kind of credit. So maybe if
I don't even have a garage.
Well,
which is another thing I'm grateful for so far. No hail in Texas, because man, I'd cry if my ride got dinged up. But so far, we've been lucky. So
knock on wood.
That's right.
Yeah, in Kansas, if you don't have hail damage to your car, then you're not from Kansas.
Cellulite on your car, huh?
I think they even say it, even if you park your car all the time inside a garage, they'll say, "Oh no, you got hail damage." I go, "This car's never been outside except for on nice days."
They'll find some.
Yeah.
Well, when I searched, I don't think it was Amazon. I think it was some other kind of book.
Yeah.
Books. But it looked kind of like it could have been part of Amazon. So it wasn't like Kindle or nothing. It was, physical copies of the book.
That will be fine. My publisher might have something out there. I kind of let her handle that stuff. Yeah. And I'm sure if I was a little more proactive, but I don't have anybody necessarily doing the marketing. The thing with that, if you're not aware, is like you give them a bunch of money pretty much. And really, if you did the money, I'd rather be buying plane tickets. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't have stumbled into the bearding community. So I'll do some grassroots stuff and we'll see what happens. With her, when I kind of proposed my next book, I said, it's going to be different. It's going to be pretty strung out. I think her quote was like, well, if it's not going to bring you any revenue, then probably don't write it. And I'm like, well, newsflash, lady, we wouldn't be having this conversation if I was writing crap that would make me money. So I think you probably would be happy if I talked about barbecued coat hangers, as long as I gave you the money to market it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm sure she's a nice lady, but I just think that her plan may not be my plan. Yeah. Because she basically was like, oh, well, if it's not going to be a bestseller, it's like, how the hell should I know? It's, I'm not there yet. I don't know. So I think it's.
Why would you ever not write a bestseller if you knew, it's like,
that was kind of,
you don't know until it's done. And
point. And this may be something that catches on after I'm out and gone. And like so many things, it sucks that it is that way. But it's like, I hope that there's a kid out there maybe who can go to the public library. Maybe he can't afford books and he'll read. And it's on the back of one of the books. Okay, she hopes that men and women around the world will want to read Klaus's story to the children in their lives, because that's free education that they may not be getting in schools. If I had not been read to as a child, this probably wouldn't be happening. I don't care where you start. I don't care if it's the Bible. I don't care if it's the TV guide. Read to your kids. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I don't accomplish anything else, I think that's a step in the right direction because Lord, we need it. Okay.
Yeah.
Furthermore, all those children are going to be paying my Social Security at one point. So I'm trying to encourage the masses to be better people because Meemaw's going to need a Cadillac one of these old days. But all of that to be said, like, I think she wasn't quite hearing me. And I think a lot of authors and artists, it's who is the recipient. Okay. And if it gets in the right hands, great. Okay. But in the meantime, you and I wouldn't be conversing if I hadn't stumbled on the bearded community. She wouldn't have thought about that. They don't know about you guys. I've tried to explain it. They think I'm crazy, more so than usual. Okay. So it's like, I can't make this up. I'm not lying. I promise. So what I say already, I have X amount going for me, but I wasn't throwing money at somebody to do it for me. Okay. So there's that. We get to see your art. You get to see my art. Everybody wins this way.
Yeah, exactly. I like the organic feel a lot better. I mean, it's slow. It's not, it's nothing overnight. It's nothing overwhelming. But every follower that, we get from the podcast, from the artwork, from whatever, there's usually a connection behind it, So,
oh, yeah.
So they're there because, they enjoy weird art, or listen to us ramble on about things.
So many people always say, man, I don't have a Hansen or a Josh piece on my wall. In fact, a piece showed up. Must have gone through several hands now.
Yeah.
Who did it belong to? And I saw it and I knew right then and there. I go, that's Josh, man.
Well, the comments were turned off by the time I got to it, so then they must have figured it out.
So,
but yeah, that was fun. I had a painting that I can't remember originally how the original transaction went, but somebody on Facebook had won it at a poker game, and they didn't know, they didn't know my signature, so they were like, "Who is this guy?" And so
I knew
Kevin
from the
tagged,
painting even before I saw the signature part. I go, "Oh, that's Josh."
Well, yeah, you seen the painting,
yeah. I've seen him try to sell it forever, and then I remember you selling it, but I can't remember how.
Yeah, I can't either.
I just because we end up with so many different paintings.
It was a Hunter S. Thompson with this hat flying off, and he's got a gun in his hand.
And he's running with like a suitcase in his hand or something.
Yeah, he always had a suitcase full of drugs. Gotta have a suitcase. I mean, what kind of guns are you?
Wiretapping machines.
Well, all right, we're gonna get off here. I got a kid to feed, and I gotta go check on my mom and get back to life in today. That's a part of it. But thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I will make a few posts about your books and stuff on the page. I mean, I can't guarantee millions of people will watch it because the algorithm hates me right now, but I'm just going to keep doing what I always do. And, in a couple weeks, maybe, it'll be back to hating me a little less. And,
that's doing it to everybody right now anyway, but
yeah, it seems that way.
If you ever do a book signing around the Dallas area, let us know ahead of time. Maybe we can make a field trip.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, I'll just put this out there. If you ever go to a Comic-Con in Dallas, and I'm not asking you to ask your friends, it's not the $300. I'll write you a check tonight. But if there was an opportunity where I could be a vendor, Comic-Con is a goal for 2025. Yeah. 2025. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So let me know if that's a thing. And I'd love to have you or both of you guys. That'd be really cool. I don't know how exactly. Yes.
3 ways. We'll road trip.
Yeah.
Why do you think we put up with each other's shit so long?
I think I've gotten into Airbnb lately because they're cheap. Everybody gets you get a whole house in your whole
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
They're actually less expensive. I'm starting to find out. But
well, let me know when the next one comes. You said there's one every month, right? So yeah, let me know.
I'll keep my ears and eyes out. We got the ICT one. We do have the ICT one coming up here fairly soon.
Okay.
Yeah, for a new area.
Yeah.
Because sometimes starting out with a smaller one might be the way to go instead of some big one that's going to be overwhelming. Plus, if you start building up your audience, they'll start following the bigger ones too.
I think we all can admit that
I'm kind
Nashville-
of done with them because I did nothing but for 5 years, go to 3 to 4 of those a month.
That's too many. You're going to
Yeah.
get burnt out. I can already tell. All right. We'll talk off screen. I love
Yep.
the idea. You do lunch with my people and we'll make it all happen. Okay.
We'll make it all happen. Sounds good.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you
Yeah,
very
but
much.
shake
You guys
hands with
don't
your
stop
babies,
creating.
man.
I love
That's
this.
how it
This is
works.
beautiful.
Again, thank you very much.
Okay.
Not yet. So I always just watch from then I move on.
All right.